So we're now in October, so it's time for another monthly mortgage update with Greg Anderson. So Greg, can you tell us what's going on with the interest rates, and if you have to lie to us, because the rates have been high and they've only gotten higher. So what are you seeing? When can we get some relief?
Yeah, so that's a great question. I think there's a lot of people guessing at when rates are going to come down. And the reality is nobody has a crystal ball, so we don't know exactly. But what I can tell you is rates have almost touched 8% on the average 30-year fixed mortgage in the last couple of weeks. Now, the global tensions that are happening in the Middle East right now have pulled rates back a little bit, so we've got a little bit of reprieve. And the 10-year Treasury is definitely past where the Fed wants it to be. So there's more of a percentage now that the Fed will not raise rates in November. So it went from about a 75% chance that they were going to raise rates to about a 25% chance right now, currently, that people think that the Fed will raise rates in November. So what everyone's looking for is the Fed to pause and say, okay, we feel good about where inflation is, and we're not worried about inflation running out of control. That's going to be the catalyst to getting lower rates. If you had to guess, I would think you're probably second quarter of 2024 is when you'll start seeing rates come down at any meaningful manner. Obviously, there's going to be some volatility between now and then. Rates could go higher. But as we enter the spring selling season, next year's an election year as well. So I think you'll see definitely some reprieve on rates starting about middle of next year.
Okay, thank you. So, and based on that, Greg, what do you think buyers and sellers who are actively in the market, or people who are thinking about buying or selling, what should they be doing? So what I'm telling folks now is actually, despite the high rates, and I understand it's expensive and maybe it's not the best time for everyone to be looking to buy, but for those who are in a position, I do think that this is a great opportunity because there's far less competition than we will have next year or whenever rates do come down. And on the other hand, I'm actually telling sellers that this might not be the best time to sell unless they have to sell, because I am convinced, and based on what Greg just kind of talked about, that rates will come down, and when they do come down, there's going to be a flood of buyers into the market, and there's going to be more bidding wars, and sellers will get more money if they don't have to sell today. So would you agree with that, or what are you telling folks out there? How should they react to what's going on in regards to mortgage rates?
Right. So I think it's all about your circumstances. So if you can qualify, now it's harder to qualify with higher rates, of course, but if you can qualify for a mortgage, now is a great time to move. If you are a first-time buyer, you're using a down payment assistance, or you have a low down payment. If you are somebody that has a home already and you would like to move up and have a contingent offer accepted, or if you're an investor and you want to get in at a good price, right now is an amazing time to buy, because we both know that if you go back a year prior, so you go back just to last year, even this isn't when rates were 3%, rates were in the 5s and 6s. You did see situations where buyers had to waive their contingencies, didn't have the option to do an inspection, and sometimes didn't have the ability, a lot of first-time buyers didn't have the ability to have their offer accepted unless they had a large amount of funds where they could cover potential for a low appraisal, that type of thing, right? So as you mentioned, more competition as rates come down, which means if you are in that boat of those people I just laid out, you really should look at purchasing before everyone else floods back into this market. It's a great opportunity.
Yeah, I couldn't agree more. So there you have it. Here's your monthly update. If you have questions about real estate, reach out to me. If you want to get pre-approved or you have questions about the lending side of things, reach out to Greg, and we'll catch you next month.